Hello, hi guys, it's me again. We are back and we are back with a bang. I am so excited to be here today. My name is Pastor Nyasha. You can call me Nyasha, you can call me my Marindira, you can call me Pastor Nyasha, anything you're most comfortable with. I want to welcome you to our third podcast. Hey, yay, we are doing it. We are doing it. I'm so excited to be here today. So today, like I promised you, that I have quite a powerful lineup. People that are going to be coming on this podcast is gonna blow your mind. So today I am joined by Jodie. But before I introduce her, before I ask her to introduce herself, I just want to put it out there. Remember, finding myself is all about identity, about purpose, and it about aligning yourself to your identity and your purpose. And today we are going to talk about identity, where everything else that we think identifies one is, can I say, tempered with. And then, what do you do when you have been thinking that this is where I draw my identity, this is where my identity is, and then you wake up one day and things have changed. So without saying much, I am going to introduce you to my guest today, Jodie. Would you love to say hi to our people? Do you love to say hi to our community?
Thank you so much for having me here today.
I'm
very excited to join you.
I'm so excited to have you join us today.
My name is Jodie Kroone. I'm 30 years old and from the area. And we were connected through social media.
Yes.
So, thank you for inviting me on today.
It's amazing what social media can do for you, right?
Connects people, good and bad,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so you heard it for yourselves, guys. So today I'm joined by the beautiful, the wonderful, the amazing Jodie. Wait until you hear the story. So, when I met Jodie, I went through her page. I was doing some research that I was doing. I went through her page and I saw her story. Do you want us to just get right into it, Jodie?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. So I saw a story where Jodie was at some point very much well able. She could walk. You were not born with a disability, right? And you were involved in an accident that changed your life. Do you want to talk to us about that?
So in 2017, when I was 22 years old and living in Joburg, I had just started my independence, my first job, I'd finished my degree, and I had a terrible car accident with one of my friends next to me. The car rolled and I was crushed in by, those barriers on the side of the road?
Yes.
My side of the car landed on that, upside down.
Yeah.
So that crushed me and broke my back at the T3, so it's like the chest area. And from there down, I'm paralyzed now.
Oh, wow.
So for the first 24 hours after the accident, I could still move. I think I was okay. And then the swelling set in, and that kind of pressured my spine, and that caused paralysis. So it was definitely a shock. And when you first have the accident, you hear like, you're going to be okay, you're going to be okay.
Yes.
And then a week later, you're not okay, and things are going very bad.
Yeah.
So it was quite a shock being 22 years old.
Yes.
My family had to come and help me and rush to the hospital, and from there started a 4-month time in hospital and rehab and learning how to use a wheelchair now, which was just a challenge on itself mentally.
Yeah.
But it's almost 8 years now since that happened, and I can't believe what's happened.
Yeah.
I really thought 8 years ago I wouldn't be able to live in a wheelchair, but
look at all the look at all the amazing work that you are doing 8 years later. So tell me, Jodie, like when the accident happened, who was driving?
I was driving, which I think is a good thing, because if my friend was driving, or if my friend had been hurt or something by me being the driver, I don't know how I could have lived with that.
Yes.
The only one hurt was the person responsible for the accident.
Accident.
It was a bit of a tough one. Like, how can we be in the same accident and I not walk away and her not even be admitted to hospital? Like, it's crazy. Like, she went home straight after the accident. And I was in hospital for the next 4 months. So I don't know what happened, but it is what it is. Yeah. But I'm grateful that nothing happened to her. Yeah, definitely.
And are you still in touch with her?
Yes, she lives in Thailand now.
Oh, that's nice.
Her parents are now still very close, because they're still in South Africa.
Yes.
So, it's been fun.
Yeah. And now tell me, after the accident, right? At some point, like you said, you were a young person, independent. living life
Yeah.
and doing your own thing. How long did it take for you to adjust?
Oof, good question. I think that I'm still adjusting in some ways, just because of entering new phases of life. Like now I'm thinking about wedding and children and how
Oh,
I
wow.
live like that with a wheelchair.
Yes.
But back then my only thoughts were, okay, how am I going to live by myself? How am I going to
Yes.
have a job? So there's always going to be adjustments made in life, and I think it's just how you can kind of handle it and mentally prepare yourself for that kind of thing. So yeah, I always say to people that my independence had just started, and I'm kind of grateful that it was still starting, but it just took a different route.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so from there, I moved back home with my parents for about a year and a half,
Uh-huh.
and I decided, no, I need to live alone. I think that's my next big challenge. I learned how to drive a car with hand controls and little things. I got my first job. So slowly the pieces of the puzzle started coming together.
Yeah.
And I think with everything that I slowly overcame and accepted and achieved or whatever, that kind of built my confidence as well. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, what's the next challenge? What's the next thing I need to do? And
Yeah.
it's just built confidence in your decision making.
Yeah. And in terms of navigating, especially in the corporate world,
Yeah.
right? Why I'm saying this is because I've noticed that they are not always so inclusive,
No.
especially for people with disabilities.
Yes.
How did you manage to navigate around that?
So I was very fortunate. I actually went to work for the Quad Para Association,
Oh.
which is people in wheelchairs, and we got to go into corporate environments and say, this is why you should hire someone with a disability. So I feel like I got a lot of knowledge through that.
Yes.
Also, I think disabilities make you nervous of people's perceptions.
Yes.
So that just built me up to be like, no, I deserve a seat at this table. I have a lot to share. I have a lot to offer. Like I have different perspectives, and I think that's really important. So to this day, I still encourage people to hire someone, whether it's sight or deafness or anything, missing a limb. There's so many disabilities, mental, anything.
Because
Give them
there's
a
so
chance.
much more that they can offer.
Definitely.
There's so much more. And guys, when I was talking to Jodie earlier, I was saying I hope this is also going to be a platform where we can raise awareness. Remember, I said we're going to get into conversations that we don't normally talk about, that we don't usually get into, the conversations that are often swept under the carpet. We don't always openly talk about people that are living with disability.
Yeah.
We don't always openly talk about how it affected your mental health, your emotional well-being, and your physicality, all of those things, your thought patterns. Like I'm just thinking now, if it had happened to me, guys, I'm being sincere and
No,
I'm
of
being
course, please.
honest. Yeah, if it had happened to me, I'm thinking most likely it was going to take me time
Definitely.
to get back in shape.
Yeah.
I was probably gonna sit there and and be crying and be grieving and be doing all sorts of things and be dramatic about it.
No, I definitely had my roller coasters.
Yeah.
I say that like first I was sad for a month, and then I
Yes.
was sad for 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
then I was sad for 1 week,
Yeah.
and then 1 day, and now it's just moments in the day where I'm like, sure, my friends don't have to go through this, the people in my family don't have to go through these extra challenges, and now I've made peace with it. So
Yeah.
it definitely took time.
Did you ever get moments where you feel like it kind of like takes you back to that day?
Yeah, sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and then I have to remember, oh, where's my wheelchair? And there's just little reminders where I'm like, this is a little bit harder than the usual person who just jumps out of bed or walks down 2 steps. For me, those are huge challenges, and I have to ask for help. And it's also having to put yourself out there to know that places aren't going to always be accessible and accept help from others. Because I think having a disability, you want your independence so badly that it's sometimes hard to now take one step back and say, do you actually mind helping me up this step? Like when we were into your home, we had just met and I had to ask for help. So just little things like that make me feel a little bit like shy, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word, but just being able to ask those questions.
Yeah. You're opening up something else, because I'm thinking it's not only those that are disabled that are a little bit shy to ask for help. And you can actually be well abled and going through stuff And there's nothing wrong with asking for little help.
Yeah, like if you have children or your marriage,
yes,
or your job, anything.
Yes.
People always need help, you're right.
Yes, and I think that's the beauty of community.
Yes.
That when you have a community that is supportive, it can be your family, it can be your friends, it can be even your neighbors.
So
I remember there is a time that we had an accident in the house. My little boy, I think then he was 5 or 6.
Wow.
He was playing around in the house and he hit a vase. So the vase broke and then it went and cut him.
Yeah.
And it was actually in the night. We were preparing to go to sleep. I was even in the shower. I'm taking a bath and I heard the kids screaming.
No.
I quickly went out, and when I went out, I could see blood everywhere on the passage, and I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And you will be shaken. There is no way I was going to drive in that state.
Good.
But who was there for me? My neighbors.
At least you could recognize that, because it could have been another problem if you're driven like that.
Yeah,
so you're strong enough to realize you needed help in that moment.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it actually really doesn't matter at what stage you are at in your life. It is important to seek help.
Yeah.
It is important to identify places where you can actually get help.
Yeah.
I do get it that there are also some people out there that when they help you, then it becomes something else. It becomes but there are people that are genuine, and there are people that are in our lives. I always say, like, a family is a gift.
Definitely.
Yeah. If your family is a gift, because usually a normal family would stand with you through and through, no matter what season of your life you're going through. They are there to support you. And I don't think we should shy away to be asking help from family or from people that we love.
That's why I always think, like, if my friend was in the wheelchair and they asked me for help, would I judge them or anything? Of course not. So I have to think, like, this person is willing, they have an able body, they don't mind just pushing her up a step.
Exactly.
It's not a big deal. Whereas, like, my strengths might be in digital or whatever, and if someone asks me, it's easy for me, it might not be easy for them. So of course I'm willing to help.
Yeah.
So I've just had to kind of change my mindset a little bit and realize, like, it's also, we can all share and give each other help in other ways.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And now, coming back to life after the accident, right? You said you were fresh from varsity. You now have your degree, and obviously were you working at that point?
Yes, I had my first full-time job, which was really fun. I was a PA in Santon.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. But running around all day, especially straight after my accident, was not an option.
It was not.
I moved back from Joburg, and I kind of just went underground for like 2 months just to be like, what's the next step? What can I do? What do I want to do? What's like feasible? What's going to work? I had to obviously get my car sorted out so I could get to work. Little things just to tick off the box.
Yeah.
And then I actually ended up working for a job that I worked before my accident, which was at a little school in the area. So I started going back there, and it was fun. I was there for about 6 months, but I also realized, like, I couldn't pick the children up and throw them like I used to or run around. But then it changed. Then the children would sit on my lap and I'd wheel around with them. So it was a good, like, process for me to realize, like, how much I had changed, but like in a safe environment. But then when I was ready, I was like, okay, I'm going to go work for the Quad Para Association and learn about disability and be around people and see how they're living and be almost inspired.
Educate yourself.
And I think to this day, my favorite, it sounds a bit harsh to say favorite, but one of the biggest lessons I learned was I was sitting in the office feeling very sorry for myself. And I can't believe now I'm 23 and this is where my life is. Like, what's going to happen in the next 10 years? Hoping for a cure, hoping for a miracle, that kind of thing. And someone got wheeled in a wheelbarrow by their cousin or something. And I realized, like, just sitting in a wheelchair is a privilege
is a blessing.
Itself. Just having a car is a privilege in itself. So I kind of also had to step back and say, what can I be grateful for? Like, the woe is me is not going to get you anywhere. You need to realize what you have already and build from there. So that kind of just set me on this new, like, fight for parking rights, fight for this, fight for wheelchair accessibility places. And I think that just made me more comfortable in this disability world for sure. And also meeting people with different stories. And
yes, that must be amazing. I mean,
stories are incredible.
Getting to hear other people's stories.
Sure.
Because you also then realize that, okay, I think I'm actually in a better place.
Definitely.
Especially when you hear some stories that are out there.
So like there was one guy who broke his neck, so he's a quad para, so he doesn't even have his arms to use.
Shame, man.
And that made me go, wow, I'm lucky to have my hands.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I can live alone. And then there were like people from domestic violence, like at least I didn't have that trauma as well. And just the stories are shocking. And also when they're older and they have children and they've gone through this, now they have to worry about their body and their family. And I just realized like the position I was in, 22, life just beginning, I think that was almost the best case scenario.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you hadn't lived much of your life, and it was also, I think, not necessarily easy, but more like convenient for you,
like
to
less
responsibilities. Because imagine if it had happened, now you have a child, now you have a husband,
a bond to play on the house, and this
know,
halfway through my degree, like I think the timing, as strange as it sounds, was perfect.
Yeah, but Jodie, I just love your resilience. I mean, I just love your resilience. To think that even after all of that, I was on your page and I've seen the amazing work that you are doing. Do you mind sharing with the viewers some of the work that you are involved with, especially in the community? Imagine there is someone who is on a wheelchair, but she is very much involved in the community, and you can see that she loves what she does, and you know, when I went through your Facebook page, you are always with a smile, and I was like, sure, how does she do that? This girl is amazing. You're always with a smile, even while you're doing what you are doing. Can you just talk to the viewers, talk to us about all the amazing stuff that you're involved in the community?
Thank you. Just to address the smile thing, I just feel like it's a magnet. Like the more happy you are, you attract the right people.
Yes.
I feel like when you're sad and depressed, it doesn't
it's
really
about
get you
the energy, right?
Yeah, I like to put good energy out
yes.
there. And I think I generally am a happy person. Like,
yeah.
I know it's interesting to hear that, but I've also learned like, okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit burnt out. Now I must take a day at home and maybe go get my hair done or my nails just to feel a little bit better. So I've also just recognized those patterns that come up slowly.
Yes.
With the community, I've started my own business, which started, I call it a pandemic baby.
Oh, okay.
The pandemic had hit and my job went online.
Okay.
And that kind of just pushed me to really explore online, digital, social media, all of that stuff. And I was like, why are all these businesses not online? Like, we're all stuck at home. This is the perfect time to push your business.
Yes.
So I was helping local businesses get online. And then at the end of 2020, I said, that's it, I'm going to quit my job and start my own business. So it's 4 years now, and I can't believe the growth my business has had. I love it. And I get to work with so many different brands, and it just feeds my soul perfectly. Like, I'll talk to this brand, and this brand, and this one. And
getting to know who they are, what they are about.
And being creative, and it's just so much fun.
I can imagine. I can imagine. And with I saw some pictures where you are standing in front of a building.
Ooh, which one was that? I don't know. Well, maybe it was a sports thing, because I'm very involved with sports. I was definitely not before my accident. I go to gym and walk on the treadmill or swim now and then, but I am way more active now, because you need to stay strong with your arms. This is my legs now, so I just needed to be fit, and I thought the best way is to have goals. So I do swimming races now at Midmar Dam, and I've joined the parasurfing team in Durban. I'm representing KZN in 2 weeks' time.
Wow! So congratulations! I didn't even know about that.
Just come watch.
I should. When is it?
The 13th of April.
Please remind me.
Okay,
I will make time. Yeah, please. I'll make time. I'll definitely come.
Okay, awesome. And you'll see the people there. They inspire me.
Yes.
A big part of being an inspiration. I don't really like being called that, but like.
But you are.
That's
who you are.
To be that person, I need to be inspired too.
Yes.
So joining these teams, seeing someone that's blind surfing, I'm like, this is insane. This is incredible. Someone that surfs with one leg. How do they stand up on the board?
How do they do that?
Like, I couldn't even stand on a board when I had both my legs. Like, it's just incredible. And they're also happy, and they're fun, and they're naughty, and they make naughty jokes, and it just keeps me like humble and happy, and realize like we're all different.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times my parents will say, sure, what happened to him? And I'm like, don't even know. We don't talk about our disabilities. Like, it's so cool. So yeah, definitely having a sports element in my life has kept a balance as well. And then, you know, the whole endorphins, like getting in the sun, being active, it kept me going. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, I can imagine. And tell me, you just said something now. You said that you don't even get to talk about like what happened. Is that something that is sensitive?
No, not at all. I just think because we both had, like, if there's someone else in a wheelchair, we both have that similarity, so we don't really need to address it.
Yeah.
We kind of chat about other things. And then, it
You'd
does
rather
come up
focus
eventually.
on, yeah.
It's not like the focus, because maybe we're tired of always talking about it. But like I said earlier when we first started chatting, it's a privilege to share like a disability perspective.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to always speak about it.
And we are happy to have you on this podcast. We are so happy. And what about triggers though? Like, do you have things in your life that you feel when this happens this is a trigger?
So in the beginning, I was asked to like visit people in hospital that had just had a car accident or something and say like, this is what I do, this is what you can look forward to. And I think they were just in the wrong space. Like, it's kind of a process to be like, okay, this is where I'm at. Now I'm ready to explore options. So that could sometimes be a trigger, because I don't want to push this huge lifestyle when they're not ready. It really is overwhelming.
Is it not traumatizing as well?
Another thing that actually has recently come up, I was watching a movie and there was a guy on life support, and I like had a small flashback of when I was on life support. So little things like that, but I just process it slowly. Like, don't freak out, you've lived through it, you're okay. I also still see a psychologist every month, and she knew me before my accident, so it's nice to say to her, like, is this a Jodie thing or is this a disability thing? And she can recognize, like, no, this is a good thing for you to realize that this is a Jodie thing, or this is something a wheelchair person would experience because of discrimination or something like that. So I think everything, you just have to be very regulated. Like, I write in a journal. All those cheesy things you read are true. You have to like almost meditate. You have to stay grounded. You have to be very in tune with your body to realize.
Yeah,
you can't
that's
go
so
off the
funny.
track.
I'm big on journaling.
Good.
I think recently, just last week, I shared a post where I was saying, you know, I feel like every time when I journal, I kind of like free my mind.
Definitely.
Because I'm someone who comes up with a whole lot of ideas. There's so much going on. Yeah, there's so much going on my head. And I feel like if I write it down, then my mind is not scattered. It's not scattered everywhere, you know. Amazing. And when I write it down, I kind of like free up space for new ideas to come in.
That's a good way to think about it.
Yes. And just by talking to you, I'm actually realizing that it's not really so much to do with the disability thing, but it's so much to do with being a human, with finding yourself. Because I'm learning that just like you had to adjust, you also find that in life there's a lot of adjustment to do. Definitely. When you move from being a teenager, you are now a young adult, there's adjusting there. From young adult, you are now an adult that is responsible. There is also some adjusting there, and then there is marriage. There is also some adjusting to do. So I'm realizing that at whatever level of life that you are, whatever season, whatever phase, there's always going to be change. There's always going to be some adjustments. Definitely. But it's important that you make the necessary adjustments that are going to make you a better person, if I can put it like that. Definitely. Yes, because there are people that are wheelchair bound now, but they have taken it as a life sentence. Where they just now sit and they're saying, you know what, this is the end of my life. There is no point.
I've heard people say that.
You see.
It's hard to hear.
So where do you get your inspiration from?
I think I was always like quite a goal-driven person. So I like to say like, I want to have 20 clients by the end of this year. I want to have done 2 swimming races. And I like ticking my to-do list off. Yes. So that kind of thing. Like at the moment, I'm actually building a house. I don't know if you saw that.
That's the one.
That's been a goal before the wheelchair was even in the picture. Yeah. So it's sometimes nice to like pay tribute to the old Jodie as well.
Yes.
Like, you wanted this, and a wheelchair didn't stop you. Like, it really is a big thing for your heart to know that you can do things still. And that's why I always say, just try, just put yourself out there. If it doesn't work, you never have to do it again. Like I actually went skydiving. Oh my god! I know. I had.
That's one thing I told myself I will never skydiving. No, I'm not doing that.
Bucket list. No, I had a big mouth saying, I would never mind, I'll do anything, I'll try anything. And then someone said, I'm taking you skydiving. And I was like,
oh my
I
God.
can't go back on my word now.
And you went?
So I went, I did it, and after I landed, I said, okay, cool, it's done. And they said, when are we booking the next one? And I said, never again.
No.
But I'm so happy I did it. Like, it was really cool.
The adrenaline.
Like,
yeah.
No, it was hectic. But little things like that, like it's so cool to accomplish things and tick it off your list and be like, wow, that's really awesome. And
I also learned that okay, there's something that I had recently, that when you try something and it doesn't work, it doesn't necessarily mean that you failed. It's probably that particular plan that didn't work out. And not to say you failed, it is the plan that didn't work out, you know. And I have also noted on a personal note, on a personal level, that there was a time that I just kind of like changed, if I can put it like that. I changed in the sense that I became more focused. I started thinking outside the box. I started reevaluating my life and saying to myself, you know what, where do I want to be in the next 5, 10, 20 years? How am I seeing myself? And I said, I want to build a legacy. I want to be able to leave a legacy for my children and my children's children. So I had to do a lot of adjustments. But now that meant that I needed to set goals. I needed to put goals in place. But the moment that you kind of like accomplish the things that you have set aside for yourself, you get so excited. And it's like a drive to get to the next and to the next and to the next. And it's like, exactly, next level. You just want to keep leveling up. And it almost feels like it becomes addictive, if I can put it like that.
Definitely.
I think it becomes addictive, where you want to be successful. After this success, after this achievement, you can do it, and you can do the next thing, and you can do the next big thing, not for everyone else but for yourself. I think we owe it to ourselves.
But even like that could sound so overwhelming to someone who's maybe not in that space to think like that. I say, don't think it has to be done today. Do one tiny thing today. Like in the beginning for me, just being able to get out of bed was a goal I had achieved.
Wow.
Then the next one was just being able to wheel to the top of the driveway and back.
So it was a milestone.
So it was just tiny little, and those, each little thing added up, and then the goal got bigger and bigger. Like it doesn't even have to be every day, it could be every second day. Like, don't put so much pressure on yourself, because you're going to freak yourself out too. And that's what I say to my friends when they tell me they want to start a business, or they want to go on a holiday, or they want to do this. I'm like, start the research, start looking at options. You don't have to book the flights today. You don't have to enter the race today. Just go swim 3 laps in the pool and see if it was hard. How many do you have to do that race? 30. Okay, work your way up. Like, it's small bites.
Slowly but surely,
and
but we will
eventually
get there.
Yeah,
you will get there.
Yeah.
You know, I always say to people, the most important thing is to just start.
Exactly.
Just start.
And that's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part. We have so many ideas, but when it comes to executing those ideas, that's where we kind of like get stuck.
Definitely.
So if you are watching this, I just want to encourage you guys. If you have something that you really, really feel that you can do this and you would want to achieve for yourself, just start. Start small. Never despise the days of humble beginnings. Whatever is small now, at some point it will grow and it will become big. So now tell me, Jodie, what is the next big thing? What are you working on?
Definitely this house is taking up a lot of my capacity at the moment. But again, it's something so amazing to see each brick getting laid, each foundation getting done, like it's coming. And this I've been dreaming about for over a decade. So it's just so amazing to see it in person. Now I'm doing all the finishings of the house, like choosing wall colors and taps and
that's the most fun part.
It's so fun. So I'm just I think that's the space I'm like living in right now. It's like figuring out my taste and what I like and what I want, and will this look good in 2 years' time? Is it a trend, or is it something that's like feasible for long term? Because I don't want to have to change my house in 2 years' time. So little things like that. That's kind of the space I'm in. Also with my business, I've recently taken on an assistant. So being a boss, technically, and like having that responsibility is quite different. So I'm definitely in a very lovely phase of my life. A loving relationship, good friends. very close with my parents. So it's just, yeah.
So your parents at this side.
Yeah, they also.
So you also have support from family.
Yes, yeah,
oh, that's
very
nice.
Close with my family.
That is nice.
And I've got friends from before the accident that knew me both loves,
yes.
and friends that only know me like this.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome just to have them around forever almost.
Tell me, did anything change with the friends that you had before the accident? The friends that knew you before?
Good question. My best friend, her name's also Jodie.
Oh, is it?
She never saw me differently, which was so cool. Like, she took me clubbing, and we were 22, 23, so she was like, this is what they do, come, let's go. And I loved that. Like, we went to rugby, and we did all the fun things, and I'm just so grateful for that friendship.
That's nice.
And then, there was one or two people that said, like, it's hard to see you like this. But then again, it was a part of me to be like, I'm okay. Like, I know it's scary to see me not being able to stand or walk or have to transfer in a weird way, and you're not used to that, but we'll get used to it. I got used to it, you'll get used to it.
You will also get used to it.
But I also think sometimes it's harder for the person who's not living it. Like, this is my reality 24/7. I don't get a break from disability, whereas my parents don't see me for a day, and then they see me again, and maybe it's like another like hit to them to be like, oh shame, this is how she gets out the car, because they're not thinking about it 24/7. Same with my friends. So I've had to have a lot of like empathy for others as well. It's not always about me.
I like that. And your parents, how did they adjust?
Sure, I think they've taken it harder than I have today. I think as a parent, you want your child to be happy and successful and okay, and they couldn't do anything. They couldn't pay for an operation for me to get to walk, or they couldn't, so they just really would just any way or any dream I had, they would try to help me achieve it. And my dad now does swimming races with me.
Oh
and
wow,
and
that is nice.
My
that
mom
is
goes shopping with me in my wheelchair all the time. She's helping me with my house and finishing all the little touches. So I've also had to just make sure that they know I'm okay.
I guess it's important to know that after everything that had happened, to just know that you are okay.
My mom says all the time, like, the essence of Jodie is still there. Like, the accident didn't change her. She's still there. Which is good for me to hear as well, because sometimes I do panic, like, what would I be doing if I didn't have my accidents? But I can't think like that.
You can't.
Like, you wouldn't know. What's the point?
Exactly. It's actually maybe energy that is invested in the wrong place if you are to take your mind into that direction. All right. And there's something that I wanted to ask Jodie. Okay, kids, the future. What does the future look like?
I would like to get married to my boyfriend. We're very serious, and we just chatted about this.
Wedding bells!
You coming to the wedding? Maybe you can officiate for us.
Yes, I would love to.
So that's really exciting. I'm 13 now, so I'm in that chapter where I'm ready to start looking at children, and I can still have babies. Everything still works.
Yes.
The last 3 months of my pregnancy is going to be quite hard because I'm going to be heavy, and so there'll be a little adjustments. And that's why I always say, like, the good and bad of social media, because there's so many people in America who are so good with their social media that I can see, like, instead of having a cot to like reach for the baby, you have a cot that goes like this, so it's easier for me, and you strap the child here, and like there's little adjustments. That's giving me confidence.
Doable.
I'm like, okay, don't be scared, it's gonna be fun.
That's
so
nice.
The next few years that'll be a reality for me. And,
Wow, Jodie, it has been an absolute pleasure just sitting down and talking to you.
Thank you.
Personally, I feel like I have learned a lot from you today. I have learned a lot to do with finding myself, where I always say to people, your identity has got nothing to do with what is on the outside. It has everything to do with who you are on the inside, And I feel like your story is portraying a beautiful image of what that looks like, Because I always say to people, the car that you drive does not make you. The house that you live in, it does not make you. The clothes on your back, they don't make you. It's who you are on the inside, And I really hope that for the viewers at home, the viewers that are watching us from all over the world, I hope that this story is going to inspire you to go for your dreams. It is going to inspire you to find your purpose and find out who you really are. Because I promise you, no one is born without a purpose. No one is born without an assignment. And to just know that you are enough wherever you are, whatever space you might find yourself in, you are enough. Jodie, have you found yourself?
I think so. I think it's taken a few years to adjust, but the last maybe a year or two, I've really come into myself, and I'm very happy.
Yeah.
I think, and you'll never be finished.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have the next chapter of being
exactly.
a mother, and the next chapter, yeah.
Yeah, and you keep finding yourself, because you keep revolving.
Yeah.
You know.
But with a smile on your face, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. No, you can't. Definitely, you can't with that smile.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, Jodie, just in closing now, I'm sure it must have been very exciting after the whole ordeal to see what you can do.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
that, oh, look, I can do this. Oh, wow, I can do this. I'm sure that must have been very satisfying.
Yeah, things like traveling. I went to Europe 2 years ago, and I was very scared to be on a plane for 10 hours. And
yes.
Little things like that. And
yeah.
once it was done, I was like, what was the fear about?
Yes.
Like, I should have done this a while ago.
Yeah.
I think the timing again was just right.
You see?
So, yeah.
It was amazing.
Just be open-minded.
Were you a solo traveler?
No,
or you traveled with friends?
Me, and then they went away, and I stayed in Holland by myself with my sister, and we went to Paris, and it was just perfect.
Wow,
so now I'm ready to do it alone, because I had that first try. Yeah.
You've had the experience. Yes, yes. Wow, thank you so much, Jodie. It has been an absolute... Yeah, it was really nice, right? For hours. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube page. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and on Instagram as well. And also, don't forget to leave a like and a comment and to share to as many people as you can. I believe this story is going to be so inspiring. So let's share to as many people as we can, so that more people can get to hear, and we can get to raise awareness. Not only that, but we can also get to be inspired. So until we meet again, from me and the lovely Jodie, it is bye for now.